Good morning. Today on Spotlight, a look at two Detroit programs that are getting a lot of attention because of the way they're benefiting young people who want to be successful and make a difference. One group is doing it through journalism and their Detroit City Youth Opportunities magazine. The other is a Southwest Detroit high school that has partnered with the University of Detroit Mercy to get their seniors ahead of the academic curve. And later, singer, songwriter, and entrepreneur Taja Savelle will join us at our downtown studio to talk about her new book entitled From the Root. It's Sunday, June the 2nd. I'm Chuck Stokes, and yes, this is Spotlight. Detroit City Youth Opportunities magazine.
Yes.
What is that?
It is a journalism program for young people ages 11 to 17. We do take youth maybe as young as 5 because we have a junior division.
That young?
That young.
Wow.
If they're interested, if they
Sure.
can hold a camera or maybe
Whet their
write.
interest.
And so we have our publisher takes that age group, and I am the teen advisor, and I deal with the high schoolers. So once they get to that age, I work with them.
So where did this idea come from to start this magazine, and what is the purpose of it all?
That's a good question. Well, my partner and I, AC Jones, we started the magazine because we are youth program people and community organizers from the heart. And we were talking about, well, she brought up, we would like to have something where we could present youth and the activities and the events and their accomplishments in a positive light. What was going on in Detroit and
Sure.
Metro Detroit, and show our youth in a positive light. And so we started talking. She wanted a calendar, and that evolved
And the young people can tell their own story rather than adults trying to tell young people's
It evolved
story.
into a magazine.
Sure. Kathy Fisher, you're with Citizens Bank.
Yes.
Any type of entrepreneurial thing needs some cash behind it. That's where Citizens comes in. How did you get wind of this, and why is Citizens involved?
So Citizens has always felt that it was important to give back to the communities that we serve and we live in. And so we have many years of giving back to nonprofits in the Detroit area through grants and charitable giving, volunteerism. But we also know that it's not just nonprofits that help strengthen our communities, it's our small and medium-sized businesses. So we launched a small business community champion contest in 2018. This is the first year here in Detroit, but the Small Business Champion Contest allows small and medium-sized business to enter via an essay for consideration for 2 prizes. We give a first and second place prize, so $30,000 in total to local businesses that are doing work that helps strengthen the community.
What's a typical day for them when they're working on this magazine? I mean, are they actually getting out in the field and interviewing
They
people
get out
and
in
then
the
coming
field.
back
As
and
a matter
meeting
of fact,
deadlines?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they had a tour here, so they get to see they saw what went on in the studio previously. They have toured the auto show and reported live from there, so they learn about live commentary. We give them exposures to professionals, true professionals in the field of journalism. As I said before, they are going to be working on their own show called Teens in the D. They're doing a docu-series about teen strength, the tenacities, the things that teens have to face and how they respond to it. And they're also working on something for Silence the Violence Millions Children's March coming up June 29th about how our young people face gun violence and react to trauma.
Very real issue.
Yeah.
Are these young people from all over the city of
They
Detroit?
come from all over
A lot of different
Detroit,
schools?
all homeschooled, DPS, and we have Metro Detroit people, private schools, so they come from every place. We give them an opportunity to interview someone that is in the field that they have an interest in. So like we have a young lady who has experienced cancer in her life. She wants to go into cancer research, so I made it possible for her to meet someone that I knew that could that was into cancer research and could talk to her about that. And then that will be an interview and probably a story that will later go into our magazine.
Yeah. Kathy Fisher, as you look out in the world and you talk to other colleagues within the corporate world, what would you say to them that your corporation gets out of this, that you feel more corporations need to step up to the plate and make sure that they're supporting young people the way you are?
So that's a really great question. You know, Citizens has always been about helping other citizens be better. And starting with our youth, I think, is an important place to start. And Barbara and I were talking in the back for a minute that so many youth today don't necessarily have the opportunity to pursue further education past high school. And the experience that they get with organizations like Detroit Youth Opportunities really helps pave a way for a future that maybe they didn't think was possible. And you know, if we don't invest in our youth, then it's hard to think about what our future is going to look like.
I commend both of you for doing what you're doing, and I expect some future journalists coming out of this program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because of Citizens Bank, we have an opportunity to buy microphones, and we're going to have a mobile studio, and it's going to premiere at our youth business market on June 15th.
Excellent. Well, you've already had them over here, and know that you can come back anytime.
Oh, thank you so much.
And we'll keep exposing them as much as we can.
Thank you.
All right, and then we'll make sure we put website information up on the screen so that people want to get more information about Citizens or about this program or the combination thereof.
Right.
They'll be able to do it. All right. Thanks so much for coming in. Good seeing you
Chuck.
again, too.
Good to
And
see
good
you.
seeing you again,
Thank
too.
you.
We had some mutual friends that we didn't even realize till you walked in that door.
Including yours.
All right, when we come back, we'll sit down with the president of Detroit Cristo Rey High School and an initiative that they're involved in with the University of Detroit Mercy. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight. Joining me now is Michael Corey. He is the president of Detroit Cristo Rey High School. I've been trying to do something on Detroit Cristo Rey for a long time. So finally, I got you over here and we caught up with each other. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
You have a lot of programs over there. I was over there one day and you had the robotics team doing their thing. But one program that really caught my attention is your dual, not degree, but dual enrollment program, correct?
Yes.
All right, right terminology. With the University of Detroit Mercy. How did it get started?
Back in 2014, we were talking to one of our great supporters, Frank Venegas, and we were talking about some of the...
Mr. Southwest,
Mr. Southwest Detroit. And we were talking about some of the challenges our students have. Most of them are going to be first-generation college students. And so we came up with the idea, let's get them on the college campus sooner. Let's not wait till they start as a freshman. Let's get them exposed to college curriculum, college professors, the expectations of a college class. So we started in 2014 at Marygrove, and then the program began to expand. We began to offer students classes both at Marygrove and Detroit Mercy. And then when Marygrove closed their undergraduate program a few years ago, all of our students began to work exclusively with Detroit Mercy, and they've been a wonderful partner for our students.
These are students who are on an engineering track?
So not necessarily. We offer it to all of our students. There are some requirements that they have to achieve before they can be eligible, but they all have the opportunity. This year we sent 50 out of our 67 seniors over there, and there's 6 different courses that they can choose from. They select 2. Several of the classes are from the College of Engineering, but some of them are from the College of Arts and Sciences and just general undergraduate studies. So depending on their career path, they can find a course that's going to help prepare them for their intended field of study when they reach college campuses in the fall.
Michael, what do you hear from the students when they come back, particularly maybe that first or second time that they've been on a college campus and have been exposed to all of this?
There's a lot of emotions. One is we're a fairly strict school at Detroit Cristo Rey. They love the freedom that college offers them, so they're very excited about that. They're very excited about the different expectations for dress in college than we have at our school. But I think they really...
Their uniforms at your school?
Yes, which they really seem to like.
Okay. I think you're being facetious, but okay, go ahead.
But when they get to college, what they really they get excited about, they're dealing with college professors. They know that what they've been prepared for at Detroit Cristo Rey is beginning to happen. They are ready to become a college student and then a college graduate and begin their careers. But they love the fact that what we've talked to them about for 3.5 years about becoming a college student, they're beginning to do it, and they know it's happening.
Right. You've had great involvement from the community and from the business community. You mentioned Frank Venegas earlier with Ideal,
Yes.
the Ideal Group. He's a scientist, he's an entrepreneur, he's always thinking out the box. He's been very, very successful as a businessman, but he's also ingrained in that community. And I remember him saying one time when he got challenged, and they said, you need to do your success right here in Southwest Detroit, otherwise you're turning your back on your own people. And that was sort of a challenge to him. He's really been giving back, but he's also challenging you and the school, I would imagine.
Frank challenges me every day. He has very high expectations for our students and his belief in their potential. So he calls on us to make sure we're tapping into the potential of our students. So we're always increasing the academic rigor of the school. As you may know, we fund our school primarily by our students working jobs. They work at the Ideal Group, they work at General Motors, DT Energy, law firms, hospitals. 5 days a month, each of our students goes off and works a job. They begin to get exposure to the careers that are available to them if they go to college. And so this year, our students will earn almost $2.4 million toward the cost of their education. And so that financial...
They're investing in their future.
They are investing in their future. That financial piece is important to us, but what's just as important is our kids are out there, they're in a professional environment, they're surrounded by people who support them, who are mentoring them, and they begin to see the path that is available to them if they go to college. And so now the importance of college becomes very real to them because of this experience.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a far off dream.
It's not a theoretical discussion, it's real.
Right. All right, we're going to take a little break. I want to come back. I want to talk a little bit about you and how you got started at Detroit Cristo Rey, and we'll talk about the school in the backdrop of what's happening in Corktown.
Oh, great.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. How did you get involved? Because you didn't come out of the traditional educational background. You came from the business world.
Yeah, my background was business. All I knew about high school was I had a great time in high school.
Most of us did.
But my youngest child was graduating from college, and she made the decision to do a couple of years of service, and her choice was to go to a school in Chicago called Cristo Rey, the very first Cristo Rey that ever opened. And when I learned more...
How many of them are there?
There's now 35. And
all across the country?
Across the country, and 2 more will open this fall. So as I learned more about Cristo Rey, I thought, this is really an incredible model. It's incredible work. And I jokingly made a comment, if they ever opened a school like that in Detroit, I would go work there. And then they opened a school like that in Detroit, and I had the opportunity to go work there. And so I would also say that we have 35 schools now. 2 more are going to open this year, and 2 more are going to open in 2020. And my daughter is the development director at one of those new schools, Cristo Rey San Diego. So we're keeping it in the family.
All right, very good. And I just realized I've been saying Cristo, but it's Cristo.
Cristo, yes.
Cristo,
yes.
All right, we got to get that Spanish accent in there. You are in the backdrop of Corktown.
Yes.
Huge investment from the Ford Motor Company, building out their mobility automation there. What does that mean for a school like yours, and what do you hope it means to Ford?
It's a very exciting time. Our neighborhood has always been very vibrant, but this type of investment is really unprecedented. So very excited for the people who are going to be coming in, the investment that they're making in the community. I think the good news for us is I think Ford is very conscious of wanting to be a good neighbor, and so I'm very confident about that. One thing that's a little interesting, at Cristo Rey, we're an exclusive school. If your income is above a certain level, you can't come to Cristo Rey. We only want to serve lower income students. So what will be interesting is many of the Ford engineers that move into our community, their children will not be able to go to our school, but I think their presence in our neighborhood is going to be excellent for our school.
Michael Corey, best of luck to you over there. Keep up the good work. And I know that Dr. Garibaldi over at University of Detroit Mercy is thrilled to be able to get those students over there.
We love sending them. Thank you.
Very good. And coming up, I'll sit down with a songwriter, a singer, and an entrepreneur, and someone who had a strong connection to the very talented man from Minneapolis, Prince. She has a new book. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Got a new book, From the Root.
Yes.
What made you write this?
Well, you know, my years of experience with urban farming and what I've seen around the world in various challenged communities, not just in urban areas, but in rural areas and suburban areas, and even through my travels with music and in very affluent areas, I saw a need to bring people together, and I see a need in our world for healing from the root, and that's what prompted me to write this book.
All right, how's the urban farming initiative going?
Urban farming is going really, really well. I think as many of you may know, we started in 2005 right here in Detroit with a pamphlet and $5,000 in 3 community gardens of free food. And we now
but you're
have,
all over the country now.
We now have over 65,000 gardens around the world that are all a part of the urban farming global food chain. So one of the things that I talk about in the book is how rapidly the global trend was created. Probably about 4.5 to 5 years after I started urban farming, we really created a global trend. We entered into some public and private partnerships. One of the key partnerships and projects was with Kraft and the Triscuit cracker. And we planted 65 community gardens in 21 cities around the world. And we did press conferences in every one of them, and we were featured on the back of 28 million boxes of the Triscuit cracker.
Right.
We were on the Ellen Show, and she promoted what we did all
You've been on a lot of national shows.
And what happened out of that is community gardening and the whole idea of urban agriculture, rural agriculture, bringing awareness to that, and even suburban community gardening really hadn't received that kind of awareness since the World War II Victory Gardens.
Do you think this is in concert or in connection with the fact that people seem more concerned about our global economy? They're more concerned about our environment. We're hearing a lot of debates about the greening of America, the greening of the world. Whether you believe in it or you don't believe in it, it's certainly an issue that's being debated even on the political campaign trail right now.
Certainly. I mean, those factors tie in, and there are many factors that go into it. When we had the crash of the 2008-2009 sort of global meltdown, people became more aware, and that's when, you know, the idea of urban farming really took off even more. We're wasting $6.2 trillion a year in the United States alone. And I pinpoint these areas where this waste is happening, and I have 7 principles that I've you know, outlined in this book. And I've done a deep dive in each one of them. And I've shown the reasons why we need to attend to these areas to heal from the root. And I've shown the areas where we're wasting money.
You've also mixed in with this your ties with Prince, the entertainer, the late Prince. And a lot of people didn't realize that he was very supportive of you with urban farming. How so?
Well, Prince has an amazing heart. And
we should say for the audience that doesn't know that you used to be a backup singer to Prince, and then you did your own thing as well.
Well, I'll just do a little slight correction. I was a lead singer. He offered me a deal, and he originally offered me a deal to join a girls group and be the lead singer, and I said I'm a solo artist. So I signed my first record deal.
You had to correct him right at the start,
right,
didn't you?
and I was never a backup vocalist. I did do
sorry.
backup vocals on one
corrected.
song, but you know, all of that led me to urban farming, and Prince and I have had hours and hours of discussions about how to help heal this world, and And I'll talk about that a little bit more. But I think one of the things that I know he would love about this book is just pinpointing these areas where we're wasting money. I mean, according to the U.S. Accountability Office, the United States alone is wasting up to $3.4 trillion, not billion, trillion dollars because of crime. And those are direct and indirect costs of crime. There was a study done out of Iowa State University that revealed that one single murder cost society $17.25 million. So when we look at these costs and we say, hey, we can recapture this money and reallocate it, there are other areas. There was a study out of Washington University. It talks about childhood poverty, where it's costing the United States over $1 trillion a year. Just closing the educational achievement gaps in our country will save us $1.4 trillion a year. These numbers are huge.
You have a Prince Alumni Network coming up event.
Yes.
That's on June 8th.
June 8th.
It's in Detroit because you take it from different cities, correct?
Well, what it is the Prince Alumni, the PRN Alumni Foundation, is a group of individuals that have worked with Prince through the years. And they've come together and they support the charities that Prince supported. And urban farming was one of them. And they've been doing this in Minneapolis each year, but they chose Detroit this year. So we're really excited.
That's a good thing.
And I'll be speaking about Prince's philanthropy, which is what I wanted to circle back to, the hours of discussion that we've had and what he's done through his lifetime that a lot of people really don't know about. I'll also be discussing my book, and I'll be on hand to sign the book, and then there's a lot of partying and dancing afterwards in a good, fun way.
Well, you can't say the word Prince without a little partying and dancing, right?
You can't say it without
and
dancing and music and a lot of fun,
Yeah,
and so we will have that. But certainly come to the VIP hour beforehand. It's June 8th right here in Detroit, and you can check out the prnalumni.org, foundation.org website for more information. And I'll be on hand to tell you more about the book and some of the strategies that I put forward in the book that I'm really excited about, that are solutions for our world.
So here's the final question. I know Taja Savelle well enough to know that you're never letting grass grow up under your feet, and in concert with your husband, Les Deggs, who does a lot of the business consulting with you. What's next for the two of you?
Well, right now the focus is on the book, and this is what I consider my next new song. I will have music out later in the summer, but the book is officially launching at the PRN Alumni Foundation event on June 8th right here in Detroit. So that's the global launch of the book, and that's what I'm focusing on. All right,
and when that next big initiative comes, you'll call us.
Oh,
right?
You know it.
All
you
right.
know it. You
Tasha,
know it.
thanks so much. Always good talking to you, and best of luck, and say hi to Les.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Chuck Stokes, and we'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.